Let me tell you of the days of high adventure.
Hello, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Mike.
And this is 6 Degrees of Schwarzenegger, the podcast where we're taking a long, hard look at some of our favorite action movies from the era of Arnold.
Schwarzenegger is the icon of the genre, and we're taking a deep dive into some of the 80s and 90s cult action movies and breaking them all the way down.
Welcome back. We've got John, Mike, and myself here for the second chapter of our three-part breakdown of the Beastmaster. When we last left you, the evil barbarian Juns had just laid waste to Beastmaster's village, leaving him as the sole survivor. Beastmaster then formed a connection with Sharak the eagle, and he was about to set out on his own. Now we'll rejoin the story.
Dar has now started his journey. And as he's going along, he meets two ferrets. No, what is he doing? He's doing something.
Well,
He was off doing sword tricks.
We get a montage of running, screaming, and practicing with a stick.
Yes. Yes.
He is just swinging a big-ass stick around.
Yeah.
I don't really know how that's even effective training for anything other than fighting with a stick.
If it's a heavy stick.
It just makes your arm stronger?
Upper body strength.
I guess so. He was pretty ripped up.
I mean... And there's the reason why.
But I guess he's just finished one of his training sessions, right? And he's laying down, and these two ferrets kind of pop out of nowhere. Like ferrets. Totally cute. But are there wild ferrets out there?
They must live. My high school girlfriend had a pet ferret. That thing was nasty.
Yeah, ferrets are gross.
Did she get it wild?
Terrible. No, you get it from a pet store.
Yeah, but
they must exist in nature.
In the wild?
Yeah. I guess so. Yeah. They don't want to be pets, I don't think. They're one of those pets that
they don't want to be a pet.
I mean, dogs do.
Yeah,
but that's like they domesticated
thousands
a wolf
of years
or whatever.
of captivity.
But yeah, ferrets are kind of nasty. They smell bad. They like scratch you and bite at you.
I'm wondering if your girlfriend or ex-girlfriend didn't wash them or something. I
can confirm she is my ex-girlfriend.
Yeah. I'm just saying these might be special ferrets right here.
Yeah, no.
But so anyway, these ferrets, like they steal like his belt loop or something.
Hey.
It becomes like a physical comedy, like pratfalls. He's spinning around.
Kind of
he's
like
dizzy
Cops or something like that. Yeah. And then he stumbles off the edge of a cliff and falls into quicksand. Don't y'all remember when quicksand, when you were growing up, you thought quicksand was going to be a thing and it never turned out?
There was
every adventure movie had quicksand.
Yeah. I've always wondered how they make fake quicksand. Like it always looks so cool.
Good, right?
Yeah. I guess they just put water
and sand,
and just a lot of sand on top.
No idea.
And then they probably put like some kind of a lift so they can like slowly raise them up and down.
but our dude, like our hero, definitely just got outsmarted by some ferrets.
Yeah.
Were you about to say outfoxed by ferrets?
Maybe.
Out-ferreted.
You're going to say out-ferreted.
They made him look like a real asshole. Like they played him for a chump.
Yeah.
He's the Beastmaster. And he's like chasing these ferrets. Come back here with my stuff.
Yeah. Well, so having said that, as he's sinking into the quicksand, he uses his Beastmaster skills.
Right. He mind melded with
to get the ferrets to basically save his life. And then one of them ends up falling into the quicksand.
And the other one, that ferret chewed through a tree branch that was like as thick as the ferret's body.
Like a beaver.
In 2 seconds. Like it was 2 bites and that branch fell down.
Yeah. I was like, I thought that was weird.
Ferrets can't chew like that. That's
not
just,
I thought that would be more of a beaver, but I don't guess beavers like.
Can you imagine if you had a beaver
Beastmaster
in his
for beaver
back?
wouldn't look as good.
Can you imagine how long the movie would be if you had to chew through it like in the real amount of time?
In real time.
But basically the branch falls in and he's like pulls himself out and then he reaches back into the sand because he realizes the one fell in and he pulls him out of the sand. Yeah. And then he names them
Kodo and Podo.
And I shit you not, we in high school I had a teacher who had like a pet prairie dog in class, like in a terrarium, maybe even 2 of them. But we definitely named, if there was one, it was named Kodo, and if there was 2, it was Kodo and Podo. We had a name, which was awesome. Cool. I don't know where he got prairie dogs. They were nasty as well, to be honest.
You're around a lot of nasty vermin.
Keeping vermin as pets is like, I don't get it. Anyway, that's me.
Well, thank the gods the Beastmaster had that convenient ferret sack to carry them around in.
He just put them in his little ferret satchel. Then, like, immediately he sees through the eyes of another animal.
Yeah.
Like this being hunted by some people or like trying to trap him or whatever. And he comes and he rescues the animal. It's like a big cat.
Yeah,
His name's Roo or Ruh.
Ooh.
Like a black tiger, right? I wonder how rare is that. Rare? I don't know. It seems like
I think it's non-existent.
I think it's so rare it doesn't exist.
That they made it for the movie. They like took a tiger and painted it.
They couldn't get the animal they wanted. So if you paying attention over the course of the movie, it's like an old tiger, probably arthritic former circus animal with the worst dye job ever.
He was kind of skinny. He was real skinny. He looked a little unhealthy.
I did not know that. Like, are you saying they died?
I read that. So I read that in the old New York Times review I found. And John, you said on the commentary.
Can corroborate, yeah.
They said the same
what's
thing.
the not PETA, but what's the one with the film the animal?
It's PETA, I think.
Is it
Like,
PETA? They must have had a field day with that.
And honestly, why not just let it look like a tiger? Tigers look cool.
Yeah, but a black tiger looks cooler.
I guess so.
It looks more austere.
Yeah.
More severe. Not austere, severe.
The worst name in the world, though, he gave that thing.
Roo.
I told you that's the German word for peace.
Ironic.
So yeah, right after he meets, so now he's met all his animal friends.
When he's freeing the tiger, like he slices a couple dudes up, and then he uses that thing, the caber thing, and he frees the tiger, and the tiger goes and mauls like the other guy kills the last guard, and Beastmaster's just looking there, man, like happy as hell, like his hands on his hips, a big ass smile, while this cat rips this guy to shreds.
Yeah, there's never a part where you see Roo like standing over somebody, like eating, like he lifts his head and there's like blood.
Yeah, the carnage is always off screen.
Yeah. But that look on his face, man, when he's like just watching a beautiful sunset or something, it's like he looked very satisfied.
Well, it's to justify killing, so
I guess so.
It. Yeah, so after that, now he's already met his animal
companions.
His animal
is that when he gives the speech?
He says, "I have my eyes, I have my cunning, and now I have my strength."
He could have used some more animals, probably. Ultimately, like why not just keep?
What other animal?
Horse?
He needs a horse.
Horse would have been nice.
Jesus.
Yeah,
that's easy to have like well trained and on set.
Plus, like,
there's plenty of horses.
Now that you think about all the places he traveled, like that horse would have come in real handy.
He wouldn't be in as good a shape.
He's not having to run everywhere.
Yeah, horse would probably been really expensive for them to get though.
There's a lot of horses in the movie.
Yeah, there is.
All the Johns are riding horses.
At least 30 John horses.
Yeah,
that is true.
Then he finds like some skinny dippers.
Yeah.
Oh man, I would just like to say that and when I got the DVD, this is the first time I'd ever seen this movie, not on TBS.
Yeah.
And this was a shock.
Me too.
The scene was
I had never seen it before either. When them titties came out,
them titties came out.
I was like, oh, okay, it's like that then.
Yeah, that movie was. I imagine it was PG.
Oh man, Dar immediately starts creeping like 11-year-old me would have had this not been on TBS.
Man, I'm about to say something here in a minute, but yeah, like about Dar being creepy.
Tanya Roberts was had it going on.
Yeah, Tanya Roberts was like I think she was a Charlie's Angel.
She parlayed this into like being a Bond girl.
She was a Bond girl. I mean, this
was before all that, but like good for her.
She played Sheena, which is I don't think she even talks about that movie. But
he uses his animals to like try to seduce her.
Well, yeah, he like picks up one of the ferrets and says,
like, "Go steal her."
You wanna? Yeah.
Basically, go steal her clothes.
Yeah, basically,
it's like that old trick.
And then he uses his tiger to scare her because he jumps her from behind. And I forget what he says.
The whole scene is creepy.
He says, "The beast is fierce."
He like
but if we show no fear, we might escape.
Like in a real like creepy way.
Yeah,
lots of side glances. Like I wonder if she's buying it.
Yeah.
Then he goes and he like kind of scares the Roo away.
Yeah, like they're in on it.
He's like, ah, and then he sort of gives him a signal like, go on and run off.
Like that was a whole nother example of Mark Singer's physical, like buffoonish acting was his like sort of posturing and weird physicality and playing this whole shtick out with Rue, who
his seduction act was pretty weak.
When he walked back to her, he did have his chest all puffed out. Yeah.
Do you think he's like probably never had a girlfriend? Like the Beastmaster?
It was like Mark Singer?
We don't know
the
about
Beastmaster?
that. I mean, does this be his first time really interacting with a woman?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
There were women in the village.
There had to be women in the village.
roll in the hay in Stilt Village.
He had to.
Well,
He had to have hooked up.
Well, you have to think that if the village had never gotten attacked and he never had to go on this journey, he would have ended up getting married. So, I mean, it was, that's hard. That's a hard question. They never show it,
Yeah, he comes back on her and he like forces a kiss on her.
That is, I saw this movie this morning and I was like, that's really creepy, man. I can't imagine they would do that scene today.
Did he pins her down?
Yeah, he basically tries to rape her.
Creepy.
And
creepy
she sort of turns the tables on him and gets on top of him.
Yeah,
which is then like, okay. And then he like flips it back and gets on top of her.
Pins her arms, pins her legs.
Like, we don't know what's about to happen.
Like that.
We know what should have. I mean, we know what it looks like is about to happen.
Even Conan was like more gentle with his lady than this guy. So that's
what made me think he was like so eager that it made me think like this must be the first time for this.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. It was creepy.
It was very strange scene.
It's not a good look.
Yeah, it wasn't. And again, this movie came out in '82, so I'm sure you could smack a lady back then. It was no big deal in a film. But this was
tough to watch. It was tough to watch and recollect.
She says she's a temple slave, which is funny. He's like, "Come with me," and she's like, "I'm a slave. I got to get back to the temple." Like. For slaves, they're just letting you roam free. Expecting you to come back. I don't know.
She had to have been close to whatever her.
She runs back.
She gives a reason. Like if she doesn't go back, then they would kill her family.
Okay, so that's true. They were like,
that's the reason.
That makes sense.
Well, and it sort of makes sense now. The whole reason why she was at the waterfall, because when first watching it, I was like, just an excuse for two girls to like rub on each other. But seeing then the scars at this part on her back, maybe the other slave girl was doctoring her up and like helping her out with her. She did have like wound like scars, like they beat them. Yeah, they whip you like a beast.
Yeah.
Like a beast.
She was whipped. So I think now we can kind of start the movie because I'm not even kidding because like he's literally met everybody at this point. So now it's like
that was like the long first act.
Yeah. So now the plot can continue. My daughter's really happy, y'all. Sorry.
She likes Beastmaster.
She does.
So Kiri kind of runs off and then Dar. So this is confusing to me. Kiri kind of runs off and Dar's like, well, I'm gonna follow her, right? But then he loses her.
Let's follow her.
Yeah, but then he loses her like really quickly.
Really
and,
quickly. And it's nighttime now.
Yeah, and it turns to night.
Suddenly.
Yeah.
Very suddenly nighttime.
And he sees like this thing, like a tree with like some lights on it, like up in the on a mountainside
like
or something.
Almost.
Well, I don't think he could tell what it was.
That's what I thought they were too. Then especially seeing like what the creatures were after that, those things were like egg sacs or something.
So he goes to check it out. This was a scene you said that stuck with you.
Love this scene.
Oh man,
love this scene.
It's very memorable to me.
So he walks up on like this camp, if you will, and he sees all this kind of like mystical like stuff, and he sees again like Conan, he walks up on this cauldron.
There's some soup. They got stew on.
Yeah.
Who is eating the soup? If they eat the people,
the beast must be doing it.
Maybe that's an appetizer. I don't know.
That's their first course. Their hors d'oeuvre.
Number one.
Some head soup.
But yeah, like the people who always like walk into camp and then start messing around with other people's cauldrons of soup, like what a jerk.
You're
right?
asking for trouble.
Exactly.
And of course, a head floats to the top.
You gonna say something?
Well, I was gonna say we also see in that part as he's approaching the camp, quiet man in wicker cage, and what looks like a replica of a Nazi eagle.
Yeah,
Nazi eagle statue.
Very true. I can see where they like on set they like.
Oh, they recycled that.
Yeah,
from like a World War II.
Exactly. Yeah, I can see that.
We need that. Can we have that?
Can we borrow that?
It was funny you say about the guy in the cage because he's literally just chilling. He's just like up there chilling. Like
he doesn't say a word.
No emotion.
Yeah,
kind of
like don't come into this village. You stay away. It's dangerous or nothing like that. And then I guess after Dar sees what's going on in the cauldron, he's like, "Oh man, this is messed up." So he lets that guy free.
He cuts him out.
Yeah, he cuts him out, and so the guy kind of just starts to scamper away. He literally scampers away
right into the arms
of one of these bird people. I don't know if they ever give them names.
They're like creepy. They look like insects
I was
almost.
thinking because of the sacks hanging from the tree that maybe they're like moths or something.
Giant bats or
leathery
something.
wings.
They remind me of this. There was another movie that was on TBS a lot called Gargoyles that scared the shit out of me.
Yes.
And they look kind of like the monsters from Gargoyles.
Yeah, they look like giant hawk bat men type of.
They had like eyes, but nothing else.
No,
on their face, kinda.
yeah.
Very strange. But
How would they even eat the soup if they don't have mouths?
That's what I was asking. Why the soup?
so the prisoner scampers into one of the to the bird people, and he kind of like wraps them up in his arms, and these arms are like a giant
Like
wing or
wings,
something
yeah.
like that, and he kind of covers them up. And it doesn't take very long. Like he like spits some juice in there or something, like some saliva or some
I
spit.
thought that was the dude like turning into goo.
Sort of how like a starfish eats. Its stomach comes out of its body and wraps the thing up and then devours it.
Huh. I learn something new every day.
The more you know.
But then he wraps his hands, and then just this big pile of bones, like
he drops
bones.
down and it's just a skeleton.
And it took what, like seriously, like 10 seconds to devour this guy?
He
It
like
didn't take very
reduced
long
this
at all.
dude, to just a skeleton. That was legit scary to me when I was little. watching this.
That scene, if you were to say to me Beastmaster, that scene automatically pops into my head where that guy runs into that bird-like thing and
believe it or
gets
not,
devoured.
I had forgotten about this until I was rewatching it, and when they popped back on, I was like, "Oh my god!" Now it all came flooding back, and I was like, "These dudes were creepy." Maybe I blocked it out.
Yeah, I can see where it affects
Dark
someone.
memory.
And it looks like Dar's going to be next, right? But then Sharak, the eagle, comes flying in and like lands on him or lands on his arm, whatever. And then I like that they all sort of back off when they see that he's tight with an eagle.
Yeah, like they don't look like eagles though. That's just a weird thing.
Yeah,
like why do
They must
relate?
worship. That must be like
That's
their
right.
god.
Eagle
you know?
worship is what I took from it.
Maybe they aspire to be eagles.
But I don't know. I kind of for me it almost felt like they were almost like birds. Like I kind of got that feeling. That's why they worship the bird, you know.
I found myself wondering like what these things' lifestyle is like when no one is around. Like, do they talk? Like, do they just chill with each other?
They communicate.
They seem very like silent, and they just stand there like statues until they gobble somebody up. I don't know.
Sounds like a good life to me.
And then head.
They give him like an eagle
Yeah,
medallion.
that's right.
thing.
He gets his necklace.
So that was weird. They gave him like a gift, I guess. They're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're the guy, the eagle whisperer, or whatever."
Yeah, and after knowing what we know, like that amulet or whatever comes in really handy later on in the film. So now Dar is he's back on his journey. Again, I guess now we can get the story started. He's back on his journey. He's like walking down this long path full of like dead bodies
On
pikes.
like his village.
Yeah, just like his village. So he knows he's walking into something. So he walks into this village.
It was the village from the open of the movie.
Right.
Yeah. With the pyramid and everything. So he stumbles upon this ceremony, and this is kind of like creepy because, like, as he's walking up on this ceremony, I didn't even realize this because I'd forgotten about it. But Maax is there, and they're holding like this religious ceremony, and he throws a kid into a fire. Like he sacrifices a small child into a fire.
He's got like some speech like this to satisfy R. But he's kind of just a con man. Like he doesn't.
Well, he
seems like he's just getting off on it.
Well, he says that doing this is the only thing that's going to keep the Juns
But
away.
we know that like he's tight with the Juns.
Yeah, we know
like,
that.
They're like his bodyguard.
The people of our dumb.
Yeah, he's like down with them, and I don't know.
What's the benefits of it? Like, we never see any.
That's what I'm saying. I think we never see him have powers. Like in Conan,
he's just a
the
leadership
evil
role.
priest. Like he legit turns into a snake. Like he actually.
Spoiler.
He, like he has powers. This dude, we never see him do anything. He's got witches that seem to have powers,
right?
And he's tight with the Juns. But I think he's sort of conned his way into a position, of that he can do what he wants. And I think he just kills kids because he likes to kill kids.
Maax, career politician.
But that really kind of like startles Dar. He's never seen anything like this before.
Yeah.
So
man, Maax is like a real shithead.
yeah, pretty much. They got the perfect guy to play that character.
He's telling people you got to obey my commands or the Juns are going to come. But we know he's down with the Juns. Like he raised villages with the Juns.
Yeah.
So anyway, he just
like you said, career politician.
I don't know.
He's playing both sides.
He's like, hey, we got to get another kid up here.
Yeah, because R is not satisfied.
That's why it's not. Yeah, right. Exactly.
So like they picked this girl now out of the crowd, and I kind of like the guards are another thing that kind of stick out. These guards, who are the actors that played these guards, or the
priest guys,
they're like a really
shaved heads.
Yeah, they like are really committed to the role. Like they just look like they're Buddhist monks or something like that. But they're really kind of scary in their devotion to this religion, But they just go out and pick this random girl out of the crowd. No, I think Maax like points down.
So this brings a question to me. Why did these parents bring their kid to this ceremony?
They're probably required to by law.
A great point.
I'm just like, you're
Bad
required
parents.
to. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Leave him at home. What are they going to do? Kill your kid if you don't bring your kid to be killed?
Yeah. I could totally see like every house with a kid having like a trap door up.
Oh, you would have run away from this village a long time ago.
Yeah, you would think.
Or tried to. Anyway.
But Maax bench presses this little girl up.
He does.
That's right.
I don't know how they did that like in real life, because he snatches that kid up. He just snatches her up.
If they were playing it like Fast and Loose, they could just say, yeah, just pick her up.
I'm sure there was a
no, we don't need no safety.
I started wondering about that. They told the little girl, like, all right, now before this happens, this man's going to pick you up and he's just going to be screaming some stuff. Don't worry about it. Yeah. It's just like,
now he snatches her up, and
he tosses her in.
Yeah, he tosses her into to this fire pit. And but I don't know why he didn't toss her
all the way in.
Yeah, he kind of just like lazily hits the edge, and that gives Dar enough time to send his eagle into the fire pit to save the little girl.
Eagle rescue number 3 for those of you who are counting.
Yeah, the eagle saves the day a lot.
Sharak always comes in at the end.
Yeah, that's like his secret weapon. That's his trump card.
Yeah.
And I mean, a good sized eagle weighs at most 15 or 20 pounds and carries probably a 40-pound child away, which is, it still works for me. I think that animals can. I think the animals can have superhuman, super animal, whatever strength. If Beastmaster's like channeling his power to them,
there's no way
they have to. There's some things that happen in this movie that can't happen.
There's no way that eagle could pick up that kid.
But it looked like obviously they must have had the real eagle carrying like a dummy child.
Yeah, no.
But it looked like a big size real child. Like it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Quick question. There are a lot of animals that they had to work with, and a lot of unconventional animals like a hawk and ferrets, and a tiger. Like, how much did it add to production time? Just to how many times did they have to film that scene?
They had 25 ferrets on set.
Really?
And all of the aerial shots that they got of the eagle actually flying had to be engineered because they couldn't get the bird to just fly. It wouldn't leave the ground. They had to put it in a cage that they raised with a balloon and then open a trap door via remote control, and the eagle would kind of fall out of the cage, and they would film the eagle falling.
The eagle? Did they have somebody down there catching it?
Man, they're all old and busted. Every animal on that set is like in retirement.
I bet they were going through ferrets too, like when they were done with them, they just chuck them.
Yeah. Oh, man. There's at the very end of the movie, I know I'm jumping way ahead, but like Rue like kind of sniffs like Kodo or Podo, I forget which one dies.
Kisses him.
He kisses him. Like, I know that tiger ate that ferret, man. I know he did.
You can't tell me he didn't eat that.
I know they had to use like 3 ferrets for that shot.
Well, then we're talking about Sharak carrying off the kid, and Maax being the good spin doctor that he is, immediately saying, "The gods have spoken."
Yeah,
no more kid deaths.
No, I think it was he says R has spoken. He wants your children. Like the eagle was sent by R to take the child. But that's what I'm saying. I think this dude's just a straight up con man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think he has any powers.
No,
like
not
a funky haircut.
He has the witches to do his bidding, and he's got his religious zealots do his bidding. So
Dar brings the little girl back to the family. And he gives us a lot of backstory that finally catches us up on what's going on. Yeah. Like he says, Maax took over the village. He imprisoned the king. He's in the pyramid, and Zed's son has gone missing. This dude's like, well, come in and eat some food or whatever. He feeds him, and he's like, anything you ever need. Like
he did just save his little girl.
But later on, anyway, we'll get back to this. But he's like, anything you ever need, like I got you 100%, which is
I know what you're talking about.
Fully appropriate.
Yeah.
Right. So then we got Maax and the witches are like, this is Zed's unborn son, this beast guy, and we're gonna send some minions to kill him. They give the guy a ring
with an eye.
It's
in
like
it. Really cool.
This eye, yeah. He's like, he'll lead you to the Beastmaster.
You know, Maax is not a very good bad guy because several times in this movie he knows exactly where the unborn child is, the person that's supposed to kill him, and he does a piss poor job of killing him.
Send everybody. Don't send like 2 or 3 priests.
Well, this sort of leads into the next scene that we're about to see, is so that he gives the ring, and in the very next scene, or in the previous scene, Maax says, I want the Master Beast. Bring me the Master Beast.
Oh, he wants him alive?
He says, R wants the Master Beast. Take this ring and find him. And in the very next scene, when Beastmaster is at the waterfall having a drink of water, that's when Maax says, that's the mark of R. Kill him. So
he sees him.
So did he have, again, is this a moment where Maax kind of had a feeling that this guy maybe was something out of the ordinary? Because he sent these people after.
Yeah, that's true. He doesn't really know he's the son of Zed until he sees the brand on his hand.
Right.
Yeah. He can't, right?
Other than the fact that he disrupted his
he probably just wants them like, you fucked up my sacrifice. Revenge. So these dudes, the one guy drops like a little noose around his neck and is like kind of choking him out, and then Rue shows up and saves the day. Like jumps on one of the dudes' backs, and they're duking it out. Then Rue goes chasing after a guard and falls in a pit.
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of stuff that could have been cut out.
and then that's when like we get the reappearance of Seth from the beginning, John Amos character. He like takes his bow staff and knocks the guy down in the pit. Yeah, and Rue, I guess, eats him up in there.
It's kind of cool too, because if you weren't paying attention at the beginning of the movie and saw Seth, you wouldn't know that was the same guy from
you might miss that.
Yeah, like because he's like in his palace guard outfit.
He had like chainmail, like a chainmail.
Yeah. And now he's kind of just like this, not a prophet, but or beggar or something like that, like a pilgrim.
Or posing as a pilgrim. I guess he's traveling with like a young male companion, which has to me like it had a creepy vibe about it when it happened. But later on, we find out it's not really creepy, but it's just kind of creepy though.
Not as creepy as Dar's kiss
not
on
as creepy
Kiri,
as Dar's like approach
not in the
to
Me
women.
Too era.
I'm just saying like the optics just aren't good. Like rolling with a young boy like this, it looks inappropriate. And they have a moment where they look at each other and they're like, we're just some pilgrims. Like I'm like, okay guys,
Kevin looks way too deep into movies.
I always do, man. I'm like, I take it real seriously.
I see what you're saying though.
And they very deliberately push a log into the pit so that the tiger can crawl up and come out. And this tiger, man, is like, it must be an old circus animal because it's tame as hell.
Yeah.
Like it's just walking right past the actors. They're patting it on the back as it walks past. I'm like, they had no fear that this tiger might just turn on them.
That, or he had a lot of catnip or something. Like they had.
They could have like taken all his teeth out.
Oh man, they probably had that thing juiced up the whole time. No, because there's no way you're gonna put me on set for Lifetime.
They're like, don't worry, he's well trained. It's like, okay, but Siegfried and Roy's tiger turned on him.
There was a bear that attacked somebody in a movie with
I mean, it happened.
Will Ferrell, right? Like, and killed somebody. Like,
was that in Anchorman?
Yeah, or no, the basketball movie, Semi-Pro. There's like a bear that attacked and killed somebody in that movie.
On Conan, we were talking about like the wild dogs they brought on. Like they attacked their handler on the set.
Yeah,
like you just can't have that much control over animal.
I don't. Do you guys see anything like that? Like in your back notes, like where an animal attacked somebody or
just
something?
Just the one incident at the very begining of filming on
the bear.
Yeah, the bear incident. But it wasn't so much so that they had to like get a new bear. It was just it was like roughhousing with the handler.
Wasn't a big deal.
Like
yeah. I'm like, for this movie, other than the ferrets,
that they would have done it anyway. That bear probably would have killed somebody. And they'd be like, well, we need a new guy.
Let's power through.
We're too far along in the process.
We need priest number 3 now. Priest number 3.
So it seems like there's like an unspoken sort of an agreement between Seth and he introduces the boy as Tal and
Dar says
Dar that like none of us are friends of Maax. Like it seems like they're all sort of like, oh, we're just humble pilgrims. And he's like waving his staff around, and then like Beastmaster's got his sword, and it seems like they're all saying like, oh yeah, me too. I'm just a pilgrim.
Yeah, I'm just going to the store to get some bread.
Right. So they're kind of like, let's travel together.
Strength in numbers, baby.
And then that Seth is like, he lets him in on like, hey, this Tal, he's Zed's son. We've been on the run for years, I guess. And we come back to raise an army and try to overthrow Maax. That's the premise almost of the whole movie.
Yeah. It's a little more exposition, fireside exposition from
exactly.
Seth. Yeah.
I thought there was this one really cool moment in that scene because Tal finds Kira's necklace within all of his Dar stuff, and Seth picks it up with his staff, and he says,
"Where'd you get this?
Where'd you get it?" Right? And I'm telling you, like, John Amos broke character. Like, he was not Seth in that part. He was like John Amos from Good Times.
Was he?
Oh, he totally.
I don't know
character.
Good Times.
He's like, now where'd you get it? He was like, that ain't no slave girl.
That's no slave girl. But he brings, like, of the guys in this movie, I felt like his acting had me the most convinced.
Really? Well, I just thought it was funny because I feel like that for that one scene, he
became
kind of
Mr. Evans.
He became Mr. Evans from Good Time. It's like, yo, here it is. Here, you can take it back.
So they find that. They find the eye ring, which he's like, oh, yeah, you can wear the ring if you want to. So Tal puts the ring on, which we know is going to be bad news.
How'd they find that ring?
It was in the sack with the jewelry. Where
but they found it from like one of the dead.
No, it came off. Kodo Podo took it.
Gotcha.
And also, so this is a little tricky. Tal says, Kiri, the redhead, that's my cousin. Mm-hmm. Now, does that mean that's... Well, we were talking about this before we started recording, John and I. We don't think that Tal and Beastmaster share a mother. So they could be cousins on Tal's mother's side, which would mean that Beastmaster and her had no like blood relations.
Well, they're still... But
they're still the same father.
Dad.
Same father.
Dad.
No, Kiri, I mean, if... Say Tal's mother, who's not Beastmaster's mom.
Okay, gotcha now.
Is like the sister of Kiri's dad or something like that. Then there's no blood relation. But you said later on, she's like calling him Uncle Zed.
Yeah.
But she would be his uncle either way.
He would be her uncle.
He would be, Zed would be her uncle, whether it was...
if she was the daughter of like of his sister or something like that.
I don't know. Maybe it's not creepy.
In the commentary, Coscarelli and Pepperman acknowledge the fact that it's a little problematic, and had they had time, they would have changed it. But they were like, it's still vague enough to where it's not.
So it is.
I'm sure they didn't see Star Wars either.
And honestly, throughout the history of cavemen and prehistoric whatever, like there was a lot of that. So this is another part that bothered me big time. Beastmaster wakes up in the night and he's like seeing through the eyes of Sharak the eagle.
He does this on purpose though.
Yeah. And Sharak he found Kiri.
Yeah.
And the priests are walking her along, but wherever they are, it's daylight. And it's dark where he's at, which tells me this must be a long, like...
Did you watch this on YouTube also?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got to be miles and miles away.
They were not close. Yeah.
They weren't close for it to be dark here and it's light there.
Yeah.
Maybe eagles see differently.
Oh, shit. Whoa. You're blowing minds right now. Man. Eagles, there's no human being that will ever know what an eagle can see. So maybe eagles have night vision.
Maybe eagles see daytime.
I'm down with that.
They see daylight all day long.
Maybe. That's why they can hunt.
I'm going to give you that 100%.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Okay. Now I'm back on board with the movie, and we can continue now. We were about to have to stop. Now we're back.
Was that the one thing where
I was about ready to walk out.
Okay.
We're going to have to leave it there for this episode, but we'll be back next week with a lot more in the final chapter of our series on the Beastmaster.